Today I'd like to take the opportunity to share with you my thinking on how design science research principles underpin many, if not most, projects in management and business practice. I'm going to illustrate how design science principles are influencing your daily work by showing you how they apply in a project to improve product market fit. Let's start off with a scenario. We have a firm that understands that it's time to update their understanding of their customer segments and the product market fit of their offerings with these customer segments. It's clear from the perspective of the managers in the firm that they would like to conduct this project in a systematic and thought through manner. And as soon as this becomes the case, design science research principles become ideal for organizing and planning a project of this kind. Let's talk a little bit about design science research and its principles before we go into the actual design of the project. There are two widely adopted ways of thinking about what it means to do a design science inspired project. The first approach focuses on an activity-based orientation. And you can look at the work of Peffers et al. For more details on this, the URL is in the video descriptions. Essentially, there are 7 activities and they are as follows. You have to identify the problem that you're trying to solve. You have to understand your motivations for seeking to solve this problem. And more specifically, you have to understand the objectives of the solution to that problem. Once you understand those first 3 aspects, you're able to begin developing a solution to the problem. Once you have come to a conclusion on how you would like to solve the problem, you have to go over into the concrete action of developing the solution. This solution then needs to be tested. In other words, it needs to be applied to see how effective it is. And then the effectiveness of the solution needs to be evaluated. At any point along this series of steps, it's possible for you to take a step back, or even 2 or 3, and go into a re-execution of earlier development work. This recursive nature of design science research allows you to iterate towards effective solutions that are truly useful in practice. These activities can also be organized along a 5-phase understanding of design science research. The first phase being the awareness phase, and this roughly aligns with the problem identification, the motivation of the importance of solving this problem, and the objectives of solving the problem. The next phase in the 5-phase approach is the suggestion phase. The suggestion phase is pretty much one-to-one aligned with solution design activities described earlier. After that comes the artifact development phase, which incorporates the activities of solution development. And after that comes the evaluation phase, which clearly aligns with the solution evaluation activity from the previous activities-based approach. And finally, both of the approaches conclude with a communication phase. That is a written up, typically report, that communicates what has been learned to interested stakeholders. Now, design science research, whether it's taking a more academic approach or is more practice-oriented and or let's say seeking to solve the practical problem, taking less time to draw on academic input, is fundamentally organized around 3 cycles of quality. So we can think of these as quality criteria or quality indicators for design science research projects, and we would ask ourselves, if we think about the relevance cycle, how is our approach to trying to solve the problem that we're busy designing and developing, ensuring its relevance? That is the relevance to the firm, relevance in the marketplace in a product market fit project, and subsequently more specifically relevant to the customer. The second cycle of work that needs to be done and along which the quality of the project can be assessed is the design cycle. That is, how well has the solution to the problem been designed? How effective is that solution at actually solving the problem? And we can have multiple iterations of the design process. And finally, the rigor cycle. How rigorously have we executed our work by drawing on previous knowledge, by drawing on experience about how to do this kind of work, so that we are not starting from scratch, but we're building on previous knowledge, previous experience, on developing greater product market fit in the case of this example. So today I'm going to try and show you how I understand the design science principles to be present in a product market fit project that is designed along 6 project phases. In the first one, very practically speaking, the project starts off with a 60 to 90 minute meeting with managers at a firm that is seeking to conduct a product market fit project for a given product or service. And they've asked to speak to me and try and understand how they might go about doing this. And I join the conversation seeking to understand their needs and how I can support them to get a better understanding of their customer segments and how their products or services fit. That is, address the jobs to be done of the customers in a specific market segment. If that meeting goes well, we move on to the development of a project proposal that also moves towards developing the tools for a series of workshops or other forms of data collection to inform any development work, any greater specification of the customer segments. And that's the second stage, where we move to, which is kind of desk research on my part, potentially drawing on the academic literature, but also expertise within the firm to develop a set of canvases or a set of other tools that might support and organize the work that we need to do. As a next step, what's quite common is in the third phase of the project is to do a workshop where customer personas are developed for the first time or even iterated or improved if they already exist. It's very much an ideation type workshop which allows some space to be taken out of the everyday activities of the firm to think about customer segments in a focused manner. On the basis of this, a report is written, and that then serves as the foundation for moving into a more extensive workshop where those customer personas are matched to the products and or services of the firm in a workshop that ideally includes a diverse range of participants. This is really the secret sauce for executing these kinds of workshops. Finally, in the fifth phase, once that ideation work has been completed and there's a sense of what the customer segments are and how the products or services solve the needs of the different customer segments, one might wish to evaluate the degree to which that work reflects reality. And if a firm has a strong customer relationship management system already, you might use those contact details to do a survey, which is based on the work from the second workshop. Or one might also seek to expand that list of potential survey respondents to ideally new customers that are currently not being served to see how well the products and services of the firm could also serve their needs, solve the problems that they face. And finally, in a sixth phase, the project concludes with a final presentation and written report. So that might all sound relatively familiar, but how does design science research underpin that project design? Well, the initial meeting can be thought of as a scoping meeting. It involves the core stakeholders of the firm and the intended goal is a written report to ensure a shared understanding of the goals for the project. And if we consider the design science research approach, we can see that this aligns with the awareness phase of design science research, and specifically the activities of problem identification, the motivation of the importance of doing the work, and also the objectives of any solution that the project is going to result in, create. In terms of the quality criteria from a design science research perspective, we're trying to ensure relevance, and we're trying to ensure that a rigorous approach is taken to doing the intended work. If we think about the development of the tools for the project, which will be based on commonly known approaches, so it won't be anything unfamiliar to the participants in the project, but they might be adapted given the specific goals that the project has within the context of a specific firm. The development of these tools draws on best practice, hence they are not unfamiliar, but also expert knowledge from within the firm about the kind of work that is being done, and that's where the adaptation comes from. As well as any specific requirements for the project that need to be incorporated into the tools, which might be ad hoc or new, if we're using common templates for designing canvases, for example, for developing personas, or ensuring that there is a value proposition fit between the product and service and the customer segment that we're addressing. In terms of design science research, here we're looking at the suggestion phase of the project, and in particular solution design. So this is how we're going to approach developing the solution for that given project. And we're particularly interested in ensuring that the quality criteria of the rigor cycle is met, that we're doing this in such a manner that the approach is rigorous and that it's going to give us results in which we have a high degree of confidence. Thinking more specifically about this product market fit scenario, if we go to the persona workshop, it forms a first empirical setting, if you like, from an academic point of view. But it's a practical workshop in which a diverse set of stakeholders are brought together ideally. It's the diversity that makes the work valuable, as many different insights can be aggregated into a common understanding of who the customers of the firm are, what customer segments might be present, and how we might develop customer personas for each of those customer segments. The length of this workshop will be determined by the amount of work that is desired from a client firm if I'm involved. But ideally you could aim for half a day and you would probably be quite effective at developing a set of customer segments and associated personas. The inputs would come from the workshop, and the formalization of those categories of customers would be done after the workshop. That means you have to do effective capturing of the insights from the workshop, but there are easy ways in which you can do this. From a design science perspective, this is the artifact development phase, or the start of the artifact development phase. In this particular case, this is going to be a two-phase process for developing the artifacts, and our artifacts specifically are going to be the customer segments and associated personas, as well as potential product innovation in the second workshop to ensure product market fit. The customer persona workshop is a solution development oriented activity, and we are particularly interested in ensuring that the design cycle quality criteria is realized. That is, that we do this work in such a manner that we have a high degree of confidence in the output of the workshop. In the second product market fit workshop, this is typically going to be a slightly longer workshop, as this is the culmination of the practical work to try and develop a solution. That is, the solution would be a better understanding of the product market fit of the firm or for a particular product or service. And it's going to be an iterative ideation workshop again in the same style as the first workshop. The more diverse the participants, the better. Again, you could even imagine inviting potential clients that you would like to offer your products and services to, but currently have not had success in winning over to your firm, and thereby integrating their insights about the problems that they face and the needs that they have, and how your products and services would need to be developed to better meet their needs. The outcome again is a written report to the client organization if I'm involved. And from a design science perspective, the goal is again that we are in the artifact development phase and we're seeking to achieve the development of a solution. And in our case, we're simply trying to conceptualize what the products and services are that we're offering, what characteristics they need in terms of the work that they do for the customer, and what the customer segments are that they're serving and how they solve problems for those customers. We're clearly still in the design cycle, and the interesting thing is that in a typical linear project, these would be consecutive. We do the first persona workshop, then the product market fit workshop, where we do value proposition design effectively. But there's no reason to simply do this only once. You could easily end up in a cycle of persona development and value proposition development till you are happy that you have reached the level of product market fit that you were after in the project. Of course, this is constrained by budget, both in terms of time and money, but the design science research approach allows this kind of iterative work. One of the key things about design science research is that we want to evaluate how well we've developed our solution. And in the case of this product market fit project, ideally we would like to be able to evaluate the degree to which the personas that we've developed and the product service innovations that we might be suggesting in the project actually fit well together. You could do this in a focus group setting with customers, and you could discuss with them how they perceive the work, especially the description of their customer segments if you accurately recruit them, or you could do this with a survey. I have a tendency to prefer the survey approach if the firm has a strong customer relationship management system with contact details, so you could survey their existing customers. In a B2B environment, you could even imagine very easily, if the budget allows, using a market research company to further extend the potential survey respondents by drawing on their address lists. What is the aim? The aim is to develop a survey which includes all of the insights about the customer segments that you've developed, as well as the offering that your product or service is making towards them to solve the jobs that they need to do. And using cluster analysis, you can then get a sense of the degree to which, among the respondents to that survey, the customer segments that you think exist based on your work in the workshops and their matching to the product or services that you are offering actually exists in the marketplace. From a design science research perspective, this represents the artifact evaluation phase, and we are interested in ensuring that the research is relevant in a practical sense in the marketplace. So we are clearly referring to the relevance cycle of the design science research approach. Finally, the project concludes with a presentation of the results, which are worked out after the survey results are in. And this is the final communication phase of a design science research approach. I hope that helps you to better understand how design science research principles are present in everyday research projects in firms. In this case, specifically with respect to developing better product market fit by developing customer personas and doing a value proposition workshop as a follow-up to that. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to posting more content for you in the near future.